Okay, so as you can see, these are pretty much the tools that I used. You don't have to use all these set of tools, but I'm going to explain some variations. Let me say very quickly that there are two ways you can execute this performance. One is by using a thumb tip, and the second one is by using cream. Now, I don't really like using a thumb tip, but I will explain later the advantages using thumb tip instead of cream. Okay, but I prefer using cream anyway. This is for skin. It doesn't really matter which brand you use. And let me explain how you can make one of these little boxes, because this is really important. Okay, this is part of the tools. I have a playing card over here, and I'm just cutting by pure estimation. Okay, I'm not really measuring anything. As you can see, I didn't even measure anything, but I'm trying to make sure that the thickness over here, the center piece, is as wide as my thumb. Okay, or a little wider. This I'm gonna fold it over here. I'm just creating a little tiny box. This little box is gonna be located inside your pants, okay, in the pockets, I should say, to be more specific. And this flap, the middle piece, I'm gonna fold it in, okay, and this one as well. Okay, so then I'm just doing something quick. So once I already have it over here, I'm just folding these two pieces right into the center. Okay, this little box, you need to tape it around so this little flap doesn't open. Okay, so right inside the box, I'm gonna have a cotton. This cotton will have the cream. Okay, and this is going to be inside the pants. So by the moment that I get off one of my tools, which is gonna be a ring, or you can use the spectator's watch. But I will tell you why I don't recommend you to use a spectator's watch. Okay, but then let me load it, because the cream is gonna last at least 1 to 2 good hours, so before it completely dries. So I'm gonna put over here a little bit of a cream. Okay, I guess that's good enough. Just rub it. Again, this is just cream for the skin. Okay, it can be for the hands, for the face, or whatever. Then you have to completely dry your finger, because you don't want it to be shiny. I want to have a little box so it doesn't spin inside of my pocket. Okay, because I'm gonna stick up my thumb this way, so it gets cream behind my thumb. That's why it is important not to put a lot of cream. You can put a lot of cream at the bottom of the cotton, so you can have an extra cream, so it doesn't dry out too fast, the one on top. But you don't want to have a lot of cream on top, because then it's gonna be all white. Apply cream on the back and on the nail, obviously, and on the sides of your thumb. Do not apply cream on the front. That's really important, because you don't want to flash a shiny part of your thumb. Okay, just in the back. But this is going to happen using one hand. Don't use both hands, because otherwise the audience will notice you're putting something behind your thumb, obviously. So I'm using a ring. As a justification, I need to reach inside my pocket to pull or to bring this ring out. By the time I bring it out, I'm already putting cream, okay, right here behind my thumb. And that's it. I already put cream. At this point, when I tape my fingers, my thumb is not gonna be trapped inside the tape. So the tape that I'm using, and this is really important, this is not electric tape. Do not use electric tape. Why? Because the electric tape, because I need to push and pull my thumb inside the tape. By the time you pull it, you take it out, the electric tape is gonna shrink. It's gonna get smaller because it's really elastic. This is just called color plastic tape. Color plastic tape, this is for decoration purposes of repairs or whatever, for any other purposes. But this one it doesn't really stretch. It's really rigid, okay? That's good enough. But however, this is not even the tape that I actually use in real life performances. The tape that I use is duct tape. I like using duct tape much better because I can make the audience participate. And you know, duct tape is really popular for repairing purposes or for fashion purposes. This duct tape is really handy, you know. So I just asked the spectator to cut about 4 inches by themselves. Actually spend some time with the audience executing this performance. It's not as quick and short performance as you watch in this video performance. It doesn't really have to be exact 4 inches. This is good enough. They cut it on their own and then cut it in half and then put these 2 ends together. And when they give it back, okay, I'm just gonna tape my fingers all the way around. And this is also very important. It's gonna be much better if you keep a little flap, okay, at the end. Make sure you don't lose this end, okay. Make a little flap, so by the time you close it, you can find it very quickly and unattach it by the time you reach the end, okay. The tips, pay attention to this. You have to cover the tips and leave the thumb and the index so it doesn't look suspicious, but mainly the thumb, okay. And when you put the tape around the fingers, make sure it is not flat like these ones. It is bent. Well, I'm exaggerating, not like this. It has to be not completely flat, about this much, 45 to 30 degree angle. So you have a little room over here. So you can put your thumb in and out very quickly, okay? So you have enough room over here by the time you do this move. Now, the advantage of using thumb tips is that you can actually show the tip of your thumb, just the front, not the back, because thumb tips, usually the nail part, doesn't look really convincing, but at least the tip, you can show the tip so they can see that the index and the thumb remain strapped before and after the move, okay? So that's the good thing about using thumb tips. But using thumb tips, that's gonna take an extra step because you have to conceal the thumb tip. So by the time you get rid of the tape, you can take the thumb tip and conceal the thumb tip inside the mesh of the tape at the end of the performance and just put it inside your pocket. That's how you can get rid of the thumb tip. But using this method, I think it is more organic. And the comparisons about using a watch and a ring. I prefer using a ring, okay, but I use a watch in the performance. The reason I prefer using a ring because it is less obvious. Usually when I have my own ring, my own tools, the audience will believe there is something suspicious about this ring. By using the spectator's watch, it may be a little bit more obvious because the spectator knows there is nothing suspicious about their watch. So it's gonna be more of an obvious situation using a watch because the heat is gonna be on your hand instead of the watch. So by using a ring, when I finish executing this performance, the audience are examining the ring and not my hand or the tape. It brings more heat to the ring instead of the hand by using a watch. So that's important. I use a watch in a performance, but in reality I use a ring. This ring, I use it for other performances. If you want to watch the other performance that I use this ring, you can go to the video description as well. So it's gonna show you other purposes of using this ring. The diameter, it is 2.5 inches, the external diameter of this ring. This is a perfect size for this performance, and for the other one as well. But this is gonna be the move. Let me go ahead. When I play the ring, okay, I close my fingers, the middle ring and pinky finger on the front, like this, so they don't see the move, which is taking my thumb outside, okay? And when I take my thumb outside, I try not to do all the move by my thumb because they can see a wrist move over here. So I try to share the move between the index and thumb, so it minimizes. And this is the second point. You have to do this move with the hand horizontal. Don't do it vertically, okay? That's really important. And the thumb, do not bend it when taking the thumb outside the tape. You have to fold it or bend it downward instead of bending it upward. You're gonna flash pretty easily. So you have to bend the thumb down, okay, instead of up, because you're gonna flash the joint. So you have to go down and also tilt the hand this way. Not too much, but don't keep it completely parallel because the audience is looking in 45-degree angle. They can still see, so you have to move maybe this much, okay? And it's not really angle sensitive, but you have to be good at angles. And by the time I go this way, because of the thickness of the ring, this makes the move much easier than using a watch. A watch, the band of the watch is too thick, and then it's gonna provoke major moves with your thumb. So that is why I prefer using a ring, because it is really slim, so it doesn't have to be a major issue. Once again, have the ring over here, go out and then go back in. You don't have to do it as fast as I did it in the performance. Obviously I can get away in a video performance. Just do it at a good speed. Okay, and that's it. The next is just a show off. Make sure that when your finger goes in and out, the tape, it is covering the nail. Okay, right now, I guess I messed it up because of the explanation purposes. And I tied it up too much. Maybe because I didn't have my fingers a little bit like this. It was completely flat and I tied it up really tight. That is why it is important to have a little bit of a room, okay? So by the time it goes out, you can just tilt the hand and then do this move. Notice I flashed the tip. You have to be careful. That is why you can just go in circular motions, and that's it. Just place my thumb back inside the tape. The way I did it in the performance, I think it looks a little bit better and more convincing, because when I play my index, middle, and ring finger inside the ring, I'm gonna spin it. And by the time that I spin, this other hand is gonna give me more coverage over here. By doing this, I already pulled my thumb out. So the performance very quickly from here. Okay, that's the first part. The second part, put the 3 fingers inside the ring. Then you can spin it once and twice and drop it. And that's all it is. That's the main key, the main principle that you can play around. It is quite easy, doesn't take much practice, except that you have to be careful with a joint so you don't have to flash it. If you still have any questions, make sure you post it in the comment section down below.